Good morning, everyone, for this Saturday the 24th of December. It's now daylight outside. Been on and off awake most of the night, but been pretty much awake since about 3:15. Since about 3:15, I couldn't meditate or get myself settled enough to get back to sleep. And but prior to that, like throughout the whole night, I just kept waking up every hour and a half or so. So I've been really thinking about this counselling session that I did yesterday with this amazing woman. I haven't asked her if I can name her yet, but I was almost at the end of the session yesterday going to ask her, because she's been following my blogs for a long time. So I was going to say, is it alright if I mention your name when I discuss my reflection of the session? Because for sure I'll end up probably discussing what came up today. But anyways, I didn't ask her that. But anyways, so basically yesterday I did a childhood, I think I've got the title right, childhood trauma integration session, but we didn't actually do the integration work because we spent the whole 3 hours talking, and I said, is that normal? And she goes, it's what you needed to do. And we were sort of unpacking yesterday. It was mostly talking about my interaction with my husband and what the journey of how it got to getting married, and like the history. And she just wanted to sort of either she wanted to get to know it, or she felt that I needed to explain the journey. However it was, it became a situation where sort of just gave her a rundown, because she's been following my blogs for a long time, so she knew that one of the things that she mentioned that was a big eye-opener for me, she said she's always seen me as being someone that's killed my body, like overworked my body to benefit another. So, quote, a while ago I was overworking this property at Beaconsfield in Fremantle with broken fingers, and I left an established, secure home because I couldn't cope with the energies that were happening there. That was my Homeswest house in Mount Lawley, and it was completely set in every way. It was organised and set and just organised. It was a beautiful home, but I felt this deep emptiness, and I was trying to get away from Anthony, my at the time he was just a lover that wouldn't commit to us even being girlfriend, boyfriend, or even a couple, or wouldn't even acknowledge me at all. Like I was just someone he used to see every now and again, and we had this dynamic for years where we would just meet up sometimes a few times a week or once every couple of months, or it was just really push-pull relationship. And it was always in his court, and he was always not committing. And I was just getting sick of it. I was just getting tired of how I couldn't move on in life. I kept trying to create these amazing relationships with new people that were really good for me. And I might go into that dynamic just a little bit later, but basically what happened was I was at this point where I had enough of this dynamic and it was holding me back. So I left Mount Lawley and went to Fremantle, but really I just wanted to leave Perth, but I don't know why I didn't or couldn't. And then segue, he also told me the other day, my husband told me the other day, that he used to try to stop me from going to Melbourne. So there was all these times I wanted to leave, and I didn't realise he was encouraging me to stay in Perth, but he was actually giving me heads up about how difficult it would be to move to these places, and how, why do you feel like you have to leave? And his actually underlying reason was to keep me in Perth. I didn't even know that. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, this push-pull dynamic. And so when I went to Beaconsfield, and that was a disaster, I made it back to the Mount Lawley property, and I was stabilising. It was a disaster because there was all these meth head squatters there, and the lockdowns kicked in, and none of the doors locked, and it wasn't settled. They couldn't even keep mozzies out. There was windows. There was not a single window that would keep every window let mozzies in. It would have been really cold in winter. I went, what have I done? And so then I moved back to my Mount Lawley house, and I was settling that up, and that's when I started the 21-day abundance course and started getting really reactive with my self-study, and I was doing really great. And then I commenced a relationship with one of the people I met at Beaconsfield, a builder. He was doing the floors on the property. I was doing a lot of hard work, and he was actually doing the... I thought I was comfortable before I did the blog. The problem is the phone starts to get really hot, and so it gets hard. You have to hold it, and it gets hot. Anyways, I met this man who then we had this ongoing friendship for a while, and then we started a relationship, and that turbulated me a lot. So I lost my equilibrium there, and then after 6 weeks of being in that relationship, that's with Brad. That was my friend Brad. His blue pillow's got the zip part. Sorry, I'm not very organised. Sorry. The zip part of that pillow was the bottom. There's a zip in there that was sticking into my back. So basically, we just thought, why not? We're both 50. Just why not? So we gave it a go, and it was good. But I left him for two reasons. One, I was in love with him, and two, in love with Anthony, and couldn't. And then the other one was the chemistry wasn't there for me. It wasn't even anything to do with it. I was in love with another, but maybe it was, I don't know. Anyways, he had a lot of unresolved issues that was scaring me a bit, and I didn't have the energy for it. So we've become fantastic friends. We're the best of friends, right? And we love each other so much. The love is so deep. And I'm really glad we had that time of having a relationship and being sexual, because that's done and dusted. So we already know. So it's the best friendship in the world. I'm so grateful for that man, and he's really grateful for me. He's my best ally with this Anthony thing, because he's always been jealous of Anthony, my love for Anthony, and my commitment to him, and I just, he just was. I'd love to have a woman that loved me as much as, I love Anthony. So that was the Beaconsfield thing, that this therapist has witnessed those vlogs, and so she saw it. She saw that I was always working, kept seeing vlogs of me, where I'm working my butt off, and I'm not getting any benefit. Like, someone else owns the property. The last property I worked my butt off for was property that was in my husband's name, and I worked so hard on that property. Added probably $100,000 value, but it was all him. It's all money that goes to him, isn't it? And I invested so much money, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, my own money, into substrates like, glues and cements and adhesives and sealers and primers and plants and mulch, and just things that he didn't actually, and paint, and he didn't actually see benefit and all that sort of stuff. So I paid for it all. So, and that's nothing that's being acknowledged, that all that effort. But it's for me to accept, why do I do it? So she brought that up yesterday, and I found that interesting that she had seen that Beaconsfield blog, and I went, wow, so you've been watching my blogs for a long time. This is cool. So she actually has a fair idea of who I am and what my struggles are. So, but she didn't really know the underlying dynamics in detail about sort of what it was between Anne and I. And the reason why I think I had to talk about it was because the reality of, when you go back in history, like, our history is so checkered, and our history is so wrought with red flags, and so wrought with what could be labelled as dysfunctional dynamics and game playing, and so I've tried to get this guy in my life so many times to move on, and yet we kept coming back to each other. We kept getting pulled back, and then as this kept happening, I kept thinking, is this wow, this love I feel for this man, this connection I feel for this man is so deep. And I've discovered yesterday that trauma bond looks like love. So what you think is love is a trauma bond. So the connection's really deep. The sexual chemistry is next level, amazing. Like you just feel like you're at home with the person. You just snuggling into them, and you feel like you're at home, and you don't want to leave them, and it's gut wrenching to be away from them, and gut wrenching if it doesn't work out, and it's like death if it's not. If you don't have that intimacy. And so when the intimacy is there, and when the people are interacting really well, it's just phenomenally magical and beautiful. Yet the two people have a reaction to the subconscious, unresolved, deep trauma. So it's the deep trauma. It's actually the deep trauma that resonates with each other. It's actually the traumatized beings of the two that are drawn to each other. It's the trauma that feels at home, because the subconscious, deep down trauma recognises the deep subconscious trauma in the other, and that's why it feels so comfortable and good. But unfortunately, what it means is that the people with the trauma bond have this reaction, this really deep, very deep underlying trigger. Like they're both a trigger for each other. In the worst case, they could be like for example, I'm still learning about this. I only really started learning about this yesterday. But basically, the dark shadow in the other, or there's something that the other does that actually is such a trigger. Okay, so I'll talk about me. So my subconscious trauma, my deep subconscious trauma, would be triggered to something that Ant has done in such a, a completely unbalanced subconscious manner. So say from a place of a pit of deep fury. Sorry, I haven't slept all the time. Releasing emotion. Yawning means you're releasing emotion. And I noticed this the other day when I did a vlog in the morning. I hadn't slept all night, and then I started yawning during the vlog. So it's actually good that I'm yawning. So this deep trauma within me is responding to his deep trauma from a reactive, unhealed, unheard. So basically, this, the unbridled fury, that pit of fury, or that depth of despair, and all this stuff has come up for me since being married to Anthony. It just fast-tracked everything, and I would say for him towards me, but I'm much more aware of myself than he is of himself. So basically, at this moment, I'm more aware of myself to the point where I can talk about it and reflect on it. Maybe he thinks about it and keeps it to himself, I don't know, but I don't think he actually is even aware of half of his traumas. I don't think he's even started his real deep trauma work yet. I'm pretty sure he's been in reaction to me. His subconscious trauma reacts to me, and he goes into defense mode or goes into withdrawal mode, and definitely goes into some form of narky sort of. But I don't think he actually goes deep into the truth of his own feelings, what's coming up. So I'd say he hasn't actually gone as deep as me yet, and maybe that's what's happening for him now. Like maybe that's the process he's going through now. And hopefully he can do it without putting blame on me, like saying I'm to blame, and actually looking at in full perspective the balance that it was two of us. It took two of us to create that dynamic. So me alone, without him around, I don't have that trigger. I don't have that same reaction. I don't have that same volatility, that same, like, so our trigger for each other is really damaging. Like, it's very destructive, very, very volatile, very... I thought I'd charge my phone. It's not charging. Oh. I put the phone in the charger, but it says I've only got 15%. Look, I might do this vlog a bit later when I'm not lying in bed with my nightie that's sitting weird, and or I could just work out why. I did put it in the charger deliberately to prepare. Look, this TraumaBond thing is doing my head in, everyone, because I found out yesterday that... it's my heart too. Oh. I found out yesterday that what I thought was love is a trauma bond. That's a friend ringing me. It breaks my heart because all these years I thought, I'll keep committing to this person. I'll keep working it out with this person. I'll keep forgiving this person because I love him so much, or because the love's so strong. And then the lady that I was with yesterday says, like, with trauma bonds, I said, can two people with trauma bonds who are reflecting on it, can they heal each other? Can they heal themselves, heal their own wounds, but then can they allow their relationship to show where their trauma is, heal their wounds individually, and then still be in a healthy relationship? And she basically said, well, I can't remember exact words anymore, but it was basically a no. It was basically her saying, well, it's two traumas. It's two traumas. Like, I don't know, so I'm grasping onto straws now for a reason to stay committed to my husband and a reason to stay committed to wanting to work things out. And she drew this diagram. She goes, the 5%, you do anything, fight, like, people fight for their relationships. People fight hard to keep their relationships alive, even if they're not working. And there comes a time when you just got to cut ties and cut your losses and move on and say goodbye and walk away, shut the door, never open the door again. This is what I can't cope with, this concept that I can't cope with this concept of finalising, mending my marriage and dynamic, my interactions with this man of 15 years who when we finally got to the point of marrying each other, I thought we were destined for big things. I thought it was God bringing us together, and that we're supposed to be together, and that we were destined to do big things together for the planet. And we've had this dysfunctional cycle happening. Where there's this major disrespect and abuse. Abuse gets termed a bit widely. You could unpack the word abuse a bit. This very reactive trauma response impact occurs. More so from me to him, because he would just shut down, withdraw, and use nasty words, which were very painful. But the main thing he did was withdraw, you know what I mean? which was, for me, felt like neglect, abandonment, rah. It felt horrible. I hated it. But my trauma response would be to go fiery, to go into fight mode, and it was escalating to the point where I was starting to, as most of you know, really getting triggered into major self-harm. My relationship with Ant was actually, our TraumaBond relationship was actually triggering me into major self-harm, like major self-harm. I've never self-harmed like this in my life before, so it was actually sending me crazy. I was actually going crazy from his withdrawal, his nastiness, his sneeriness, because, I've also had to come to terms with the fact that quite a few people now have mentioned, including, professional people, and including this lady I saw yesterday, are saying that his traits, like what I describe, are the traits of a narcissist. So, the non-empathicness. He doesn't have empathy. He has to learn it. It's like he wants to have empathy. He tries to have empathy, but he doesn't. It's not true. It's not deep down empathy. Found out that that's a trauma response. So to become narcissistic is a trauma response. To become empathic is also a trauma response. To be an over people pleaser. This whole thing about being human is so complicated, and love. What I thought was love, like, because I used to think that maybe he was autistic, a little bit autistic, so I was always giving him leeways. Or actually, someone said to me, a friend of mine with an autistic son, and someone else who works with autistic people years ago said to me, and someone else as well, quite a few years ago, tell me that they thought he might be autistic or Asperger's. I went, oh wow, really? Okay, so then I started giving him heaps of leniences and allowances, and started allowing him to get away with stuff that I probably never allowed another to get away with. So it actually helped me self-dynamic. I'm not holding him to account. And then at the same time, I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Do I really want to be here? And this is way before we were living together, way before girlfriend, boyfriend. So I was often why there's all these other people out there that treat me better, talk to me better, more involved, empathic, show empathy. I've said that twice now, but it's a big deal for me. Like really sort of at present, mindful, considerate, attentive, committed, and yet these are the people I kept pushing away, and I kept trying really hard, desperately to bring Ant back into the situation, and at what expense? Why? And then my needs weren't being met. Like I was just living on crumbs. This is when we were just dating. We weren't even dating, for God's sake. We were having sex every now and again. It was like, wow, you look back on the history and think, fuck. I couldn't get him out of my fucking heart. And I kept thinking, it must be love. It actually must be love. This must be the deepest love I've ever had in my life for anyone. And up until yesterday, I had this belief system that all the areas of forgiveness and love, and all the areas of forgiveness and patience and over-compromising and scrambling, constantly orchestrating and scrambling for a solution and overdoing, and the list just goes on and on and on, like me 99.9% effort, Anthony 1. Like without me, we would not even have continued as lovers years ago, because it doesn't matter. The effort, he shuts down, he just withdraws and shuts down and not involved. He's not involved in making life amazing or involved in having an incredible connection with someone, anyone at all, even his kids. His daughter really needed him the other day, and I gave him all these suggestions, like ring her up, invite her to come over, we'll pay for a ticket, and he, like, come on, she's really sad, let's help her out. She might die, she could be suicidal, let's help her out. because this really horrible thing happened with her, you know, this terrible, terrible situation. And I had so much empathy. I was crying for this thing that was happening for his daughter. And he was just, he'd go, oh, okay, I'll invite her over. And he goes, would you like to come over? She goes, yes, yes, I'd love to. He goes, well, you just have a think about it and I'll get back to you. Ring me back when you've had a think about it. And I'm like, she just told you yes. She just said yes. I could hear it in her voice, like, yes, I want to come to you and spend time with you in Nadina. We've got a guest rare, and he just wouldn't fucking make it happen. And my therapist said yes, that's because he didn't want it to be. He didn't want her here. He doesn't want her problems in his space. He doesn't want to be involved with anyone. He doesn't emotionally want to actually have to give or do or be, like even with the animals, you know. Happy to play with them and cuddle them, but not happy to train them. It's like, and here I am banging my head against a brick wall, living on crumbs, going, it's love, it's love. And then one day going, oh, you know, he keeps learning. Oh, he's learning this, he's learning that. Oh, now we do public affection. You know, now we do displays of public affection. Now he kisses me just unbiddenly, comes up to me when he sees me and kisses me and holds me. Now he will actually cuddle me before he goes to sleep. But this is learnt behaviour. He's learning how to be these ways with me because I say, like, it's really important that we have a hug and a kiss in the morning. And he knows it's important, so it's like he's really good at rote singing. Like he can sing. He knows thousands of songs, 2,000 plus songs. So when he learns it and gets in his head, he can do it. But it's not necessarily coming from here, which is what a lot of us do. It's what I do. And I, as the loving person I am, being in a relationship where someone can't automatically just love and can't deeply feel, that's like suicide. That's like slow suicide for me. You know, that's like giving someone the tool to kill me. And no wonder I started becoming crazy and started self-harming. Because I was like reenacting every abandonment trauma I've ever had in my life. Like reenacting all of the lack of love I had in my kid. Like as a child, I chose a person who just brought up the deepest of my deepest of my deepest of my deepest pains. Every issue, every trauma I've ever had, this person kept reactivating every day. Even if we weren't even having a problem, because we would go months without having a problem, or many, many, many weeks. But underlying, I could see the lack of involvement. I could feel the lack of balance. I could feel the lack of true empathy. I could tell it was there. Like I fainted the other day and fell down the steps, sprained my ankle really badly and hit my head on the railing. There was no empathy for that. Not an iota of empathy. That I fainted, nearly broke my ankle and smashed my head. I'd have deep vertigo, no empathy, like almost like ignore me, like, or you know, the list goes on and on of all these things that most people go, oh, are you okay? Or do you need water? Or oh, do you want a hug? Or, and then in me it goes, it's okay, it's just him. It's just him. It's just him. Like, but deep down inside it was killing me that he didn't have that care factor that a normal friend would have, or most people would actually go, oh my God, are you okay? That's what most people would do if you faint and fall and nearly break your ankle. That's what most people would do. But not the man I chose to marry. He just sees it and goes, oh, or sees it and doesn't even register it. And it's like almost living with a robot or a zombie sometimes. And then you're in love with this person. So you go, it's okay, I'll forgive him. Like constant going, that's all right, I'll forgive. It's okay. It's always, it's okay. It's just him. But in the meantime, I'm going, but what about me? But this is all building up. It's a very painful situation when we keep, because I've never allowed myself to, I don't think I've ever really allowed myself to truly be loved or cared for. I've got some really good friends who are I'm really allowing these friends to, and lives. I know, like I'm actually finally allowing proper care and love into my life. But I've still got this thing of I really want it to be from an intimate partner. So that's an unmet need. It must be unmet father need or something. Because some people are fine knowing that they're going to live the rest of their life alone. Now, I have spent a lot of my life alone. So it's not like I can't do it. I just have this desire to share my life with my partner and to work as a team and to have these dreams, and we support each other in both our dreams. And I see these types of relationships. I know they exist. This is an adult, wholesome, trauma bond relationship. So, and I desire that. That's what I desire in my life. So, obviously, to create it, I've got to finalise this situation that I'm in now. And, I mean, that obviously means, like, obviously shutting the door, walking away, and divorce. And what do we do with this house, and what does life look like in the future? And so I've got 5% battery left. And I just want to be held. It was the bottom line of anything and every time when I go into trauma. All I want is to be held, and I still really want to believe that Anthony and I can do a lot of trauma work, healing work, and work out how to have a healthy relationship. But the therapist says yesterday it's just not possible. It won't happen. He can't change. If he's a narcissist, which she firmly believes he is, I'm like, surely narcissists can learn behaviour, surely they can learn new behaviours. It's just always like hanging on to that little bit of hope and the trauma bond. But what if I heal my trauma? What if he heals his trauma? And what if he can address his narcissist behaviours? And what if I can address my over people pleasing behaviours? Like, what is? And she said, you can't have a marriage based on what ifs. Like, you can't have a marriage based on what could be. That's just potential. You're marrying potential. And what about you? What about you? What your needs? What about, what about my soul? I'm just going to check this charger because, Free, I can see that you're watching. I'm really glad. I'm just going to put the phone charger in, but for some reason the phone's not charging, so I'll just double check why. I don't know why. I pressed it in. But I really love that you watch these lives, Free, and you're such a big part of why I do them. You and a few other people. I'll just see if that worked. Connection, electrical connection. I don't know whether this is going to. It might be a dud. It might be a dud. Might be a dud. Ouch. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go sit on the couch for a second because, ouch, I know that the couch charges my phone up. So, yeah, I've got this beautiful house, which quite a few people, everyone who comes to this house thinks it's amazing. Free, when you came to Perth, well, it would have been so good if you'd seen it then. But I just like, the property's beautiful. The property's beautiful. I'll just put the light on because it's a little bit dark in here still. The property's beautiful, and the land is amazing. I found out the other day that if I go on disability allowance, this lady, a friend of mine said to me, if I claim disability allowance, which I can because of all my body injuries and my mental, all the different scenarios, and the paper trail and everything like that, if I claim disability, she says you can get a Key Start loan really easily. Like they actually want to help people with disabilities not be homeless. And so I could actually get a Key Start loan and pay Anthony out. And also I've lost all of my guilt around him getting half of everything, because it's really good that I've lost my guilt, because what actually happened was I was set in Mount Lawley. I was completely set. I had a home, a life, a car, work, lifestyle, and I believed in the dream, and I jumped in. I fully jumped in to, sorry about this moving everything around, sorry. I jumped in wholeheartedly, completely committed in every single way to this dream of marriage and Northam, and completely committed. Like, obviously since then I found out that I've got trauma bonds, so what I thought was pure love, I now know is, I'm still having a hard time accepting this, but it's distorted, wounded child, comfort zone. So oh God, even saying that just made me feel like I've got all these daggers. I feel like I've got thousands of ants inside my body trying to eat out. That's an anxiety attack. Yeah, so what I thought was love, what I really believe was deep love. I felt like I've loved this man and I've never loved anyone, which is true. I've never had such a trauma bond with anyone. My wounded child has never felt so familiar and at home with someone. So my wounded child and his wounded child feel completely at home with each other, which is why we keep the magnetism. We just keep being drawn to each other, because our wounded child goes, I can see you, I understand you, now I feel safe with you. I feel safe with you. It's like Anthony and I feel safe with each other because we understand the wounds, the deep wounds understand each other. And those two wounded beings actually hold each other and they comfort each other. I mean, and that's what we misinterpret as love. And you can understand why. The child feels safe. You feel like you're at home. The love making and the connection is just next level. So you just think, I've met my twin flame. This is who I'm supposed to be with. Everything about me works with this person. Like we work beautifully together. Like how could someone not misunderstand that as love? Like, but the issue is when you've got one person's a narcissist and one person's got very deep trauma, or it could be the same person. I've got very deep trauma. Like, my trauma is phenomenal. It's just, so my trauma is, so I've actually found some information out a couple of days ago, which is starting to unsettle me a lot. And the thing that I found out, which I don't like, but it makes a lot of sense, is that what actually happened was someone said to me, I think, yeah, it's hard knowing what to say on Facebook sometimes. Someone said to me, I've had this conversation my husband's level of trauma, I think, is much deeper than he's aware of. And the reason why this is coming into my awareness spectrum is because a friend of mine said, based on a conversation he'd had with my husband, he was really thinking a lot about what was divulged, the information that was divulged, very personal information. And it's personal information that I'm aware of as well. And he goes, and it's reflecting on it. And my friend was like, he's had a history, right, of, there's a lot that's happened in his life, a lot of trauma, a lot of really not good things happened to him, okay? So from that space, from that awareness, he was listening to what my husband was saying. They were in the car. My husband was driving back. Like, they were in the car together. And So basically, this information got divulged, which was a red flag for my friend. And my friend was thinking about it for quite a while, for about a week, right? And then he was like, nah, there's something more to that level, what Anthony's talking about, and the impact that trauma had on him. I think that there's more to that trauma than what he's actually aware of. And then he started thinking, I reckon in this circumstance and with this and with that and blah, blah, I reckon this is actually what actually may have happened. And then he said to me the other day, Nadina, I reckon that, rah, 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 this and this and this happened, rah, rah, and that's the impact is this and this and rah, rah, because of rah, rah. And then I went, fuck, really? Like, wow. I said, that makes so much more sense, because I said, I've also often wondered why this is his outcome, this is the result, when that was what he talks about, is what happened. And then, yeah, it makes more sense that all this other stuff actually happened as well, right? And so, it fucking breaks my heart, because he's possibly not even aware of this yet. He hasn't had the memory yet. And then when I brought it up to the therapist yesterday, I say, look, this is what my friend thinks may have happened to my husband. She goes, without a doubt. But I don't think my husband even remembers it yet. I don't think he even remembers it yet. And this is actually created for him to have a very fucking toxic trauma bond with someone that still controls him in the worst way you can imagine. And my husband gives his power to this person like you would not believe, even at the detriment of everything that he knows. And he even knows he's giving his power away, and he doesn't know why and how and this and that, rah, rah. And my husband allows this other person to infiltrate and destroy our marriage. And, really big part of why our marriage is struggling is because there's some external influence that's so fucking evil, okay? It's so fucking evil. It's just out to fucking destroy us. And my husband can't step up to it. He's not strong enough to step up to it. And wants to. He tells me he wants to. He says he's going to write a letter. He says he's going to do this. He's going to do that. He wants to protect us. He wants to protect him, but he doesn't know how to, and he can't. And I've gone, why is it this person has so much fucking power over you? You know that it's dysfunctional. Why can't you end it? Like, I can't end it. It's got to be you. You got to be the one that stops it from happening, from continuing to happen. And now I actually sort of understand why more. Like, as of yesterday, I understand, and this therapist helped me understand, he can't. He doesn't have the ability. He doesn't know how to fucking stop it. He's got such a trauma bond with this particular person that, fuck, he's never going to have a good life. He's never going to be able to fucking make anything work. He's got trauma bonds with all sorts of different people too, not just... And then he's got the trauma bond with me. And I just feel so sorry for the guy. Oh, and I'm so fucking sorry that for some reason I can't step out enough to be the true safe, pardon me, to be the truly safe harbour that I want to be for him, you know. And then my therapist and this other people say, look, but it's not for you to do that. Like, I've got to focus on me. I've got to stop focusing on saving and fixing others. Like, I've chosen brought someone into my life on an intimate level that needs so much saving, always so much saving. Like he won't even eat or even drink water if you don't remind him. He doesn't look after himself, doesn't love himself to look after his own health. But that's not my responsibility, is it? It's so hard. I'm so entrenched, guys. I'm so entrenched. And I thought, oh, it's okay if I keep trying to fix all this up because we've got this true love, we've got this really true deep love, and we're really good for each other, and when we can step above, or when I can step above my issues, we're going to soar, we're going to have this amazing life. If, and now I have to accept the cold, hard facts that I have to soften it a little bit, or I'm just going to burn up. But it's potentially never going to work. But that's not what the therapist said. She says it's never going to work. It's never going to work. The marriage is never going to work. And it's not love. It's not even fucking love. It's trauma bond. And that's why he can't commit. That's why he's not committed, because his trauma response is to withdraw. So he's very likely never been committed. Like, he's never actually loved me. He doesn't know what love is. I've brought this man into my life who doesn't even... He can't love himself and he can't love another. So what he shows is learnt behaviour. So if he he goes, this is what Nadina says she needs, so I'll start doing more of this. And it feels good for him, like, probably feels good for him because he can, it's making peace. The house is working. When I do this, the house is working. But it's not from a place of his, like, true deep heart or true deep mental frontal lobal capacity of why. Like, whereas me, it just makes complete sense. It's deep in my heart. It comes naturally to me. Someone doesn't have to tell me how to do it. It just comes naturally, right? But for my, I still want to call him my beloved one for the moment, everyone. But for this man who I've thought I've been deeply in love with, he can't love me the way I love him, because he doesn't love him. He doesn't have that capacity. He's either that damaged that he can't love. He's grown up in the most unloving environment, and he surrounds himself. He left me to run back to the most unloving, damaged people. None of them love themselves. You know, their trauma is also huge, and none of them actually understand the power of love and the beauty of love. But how's this? I'm coming to understand that neither do I. But then someone said to me, no, that's not true, Nadina. You know love. You know love. You are so kind. You are so generous. You're so loving. The people pleaser in me, like, wanting to make sure everyone else is okay, and, you know, really making sure someone's well-being has been looked after, and and my love for myself, I can really, you know, I feed myself, I make sure I drink water, I make sure my skin's got coconut, you know, I actually can do so. I do know love, but when it comes to an intimate relationship, I don't know. It's really weird. I'm so confused, everyone, because you know what's happened? I was married for 10 years to my first husband, and I've had some really close relationships with some really nice people, men, and I was able to walk away very easily, okay? I was able to go, yep, we've had our time together, and like my first husband's shame. Sorry. It was a mutually agreeable separation. We had 3 kids. One was biologically ours. We had 3 kids. We had this separation of 3 years where we had a joint account. We had a joint account, and I never used a single cent of that money unless we discussed it. Because because he was still working and I was single. I was working too, but his money was going to a joint account that I had access to. That's how much she trusted me. Oh, sorry, everyone. The phone's getting really hot again. Yeah, and then we were good friends, but it wasn't until... if you always wonder why I'm touching my ears, because I've got this ear problem. It's got a name, and it's like... it's really itchy. It goes from itchy to sore, but and I'm deaf in that ear. It's like not just that ear is always aggravated. Put tea tree oil in there and hydrogen peroxide, and there's like a little thrush colony really deep inside my head. I can't remember the name of the thing. But yeah, right. Sometimes it's just so itchy. It's almost I just want to rip my ear out. And then if I scratch it too much, then it hurts. And if I put the cotton bud down too many times, I've busted my eardrum. Must not do that again. Yeah, with Shane it was really interesting because I was 23 and he was 21 when we got married, and we had our 3 kids, and I had 2 kids already, and he wanted to be their dad, and then we had another child. We had 3 kids. He was such an amazing dad. He was such an amazing husband. He was a fantastic provider. He took pride in being a dad and being a husband. And the interesting thing is, yeah, I know, sorry, what I'm trying to say is that when we separated, I wasn't in grief at all. At all. Wasn't in grief at all. I was 36. It's almost like I was relieved because he was like a big child, and I had 4 children, and I was sick of, I don't know. So does that mean I wasn't in love with Shane, or does it mean it was a healthy relationship, and when it reached its duration, we just walked away from each other in peace? And then what happened was we stayed friends for 3 years until he met this woman that was jealous of our friendship, and he even said to me, should I be with this woman? And I said, no, she's going to kill our friendship and your relationship with your children. But he bloody did it anyways, and of course he then betrayed his children, betrayed me, and then became an absolute asshole. And then, to this day, he's probably aged really badly. He probably has lots of regret that he gave up our friendship. And I've had some very amazing relationships with amazing men that I just could not fall in love with because I was too in love with Anthony. And then when I ended it with them, we stayed friends because they see my value. They think I'm amazing. They think I'm really lovely, and vice versa. This thing with Anthony, it's just next level, and that's why I thought it must be love. It must be the deepest sense of love I've ever felt in my life. And last night, accepting the reality that there really is no reason for us to be married. We're not good. We shouldn't be married, and we shouldn't be in a relationship. Move on. Move fucking on, Nadina. Move on. I just can't imagine life without him. I think it was, someone said it was like an addiction. I think it was the therapist I saw yesterday. And my really good friend Brad, we talk about this dynamic I have with Anthony a lot because he's never been able to understand it. Like, how could someone like myself be so committed to him? Because he's seen Anthony say do some really bad and horrible things, like things that most of you wouldn't even imagine I would tolerate. And he sees it. Brad sees it, and he's like, why would you let someone treat you like that and still stay there? Why would you? But this has been going on for years, but it used to be on it's never been on a small scale. There's been heaps of times when something Anthony said or done something terrible over the years that we've known each other, and I just kept forgiving him and wanting him to come back, and well, he never was there, just wanting him to give me some of his time. Like, how pathetic, everyone. And I used to think about it and go, Nadina, come on, why are you doing this? That's why I wanted to leave Australia. I even wanted to leave Australia to get away from Anthony. And then someone said to me a while ago, I think you're in a psychologically abusive relationship with a narcissist. I said, no, it's not as bad as you think it is. You know, it's like, but I've had a few people say, well, from what I see, Nadina, it's pretty bad. And I've had people say to me, you're losing your light, Nadina, you're dying, he's sucking the life force out of you. So the question is why? Why did I allow it? Why did I allow it for all those years? 15 years. I've given up a lot of my youth, a lot of my prime years, a lot of my... Why couldn't I fall in love with another? Why have I allowed this trauma bond to impact me to the point of thinking that it was what I needed, wanted to marry this man and to start a new life with him in a small country town like... What is it that why did I have to learn this lesson this way? Just such a hard lesson, because I want to say I'm really in love with this man, because that's what I'm so used to saying. And it just fucking destroying me on the inside, accepting the fact that I've got to... I don't know, like a friend of mine said to me, don't go too deep into the... Like, that's just one person's opinion. So this is how I've got to leave it. Okay, so my relationship, my marriage with my husband as is right now, not with him not being here, but this trauma bond impact reaction is not working. It's not good. And that's where I'm stopping. But then at the same time, everyone, like what I said to you earlier, this last time when I reacted to his sneering and he'd been really grumpy for about 5 days, and I've ascertained that he was jealous. We think that he was jealous because my friend Brad and I gave each other a 10-minute massage. We think that's where it started from. We also think he's jealous of my friendship with the man that saved me when I got left for dead. So in June when I got left for dead and I had nothing, as you know, no wood, no warmth, no food, no petrol, no money, no phone, no ability to ring people, no one could ring me. Suicidal, withdrawing from drugs from when they had me in the St. God's Hospital. Betrayed Anthony, had just run. You know, he'd been pulling away when I needed him the most. The man who kept me alive was my neighbour. He lent me some money, which got me through, but he also would hold me while I was catonically and cathartically crying in the deepest of despair you can imagine, just from the pain of it all. And we've also ascertained that Anthony seems to be jealous of him. And I've come to realise I think Anthony is jealous of the fact that my neighbour, Simon, has such care factor to care for a stranger to that level. Like, he's actually got the ability to care for someone. And obviously since then, my neighbour and I have become friends, like really good friends. And we also think maybe he was jealous of Brad and I giving each other massage because, again, we had the care factor to care for each other's injuries. And then we definitely think he's jealous of Brad's and my fitness level and what we're able to do around the house. But Brad and I are working with injuries. You know, like, we push ourselves hard. Like, Anthony was telling me, stop, just don't do anything. If you're hurting, just don't do it. Like, well, why? Why just stop? Why? If I stop, then I'm going to die. So he's got this thing of he dies. He just let himself die. He doesn't know how to live. And these are all very horrible things to have to say about a man that I love. And then I come to realise, oh God, there's not even love there. It's just a fucking TraumaBond connection. But my friend Brad said to me last night, no, Nadina, no, you still really love him. You love him. I can see it. It's there. And Catherine, my friend, said the same thing. No, there's something there. You guys definitely have something. And then it's like, oh, the hope kicks in. Like, can we resolve it? Can we heal it? So that's what's been keeping me up all night, everyone. Fuck. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm not suicidal, trust me. I'm not suicidal, but my God, I'm like, I can't make sense of anything. I'm looping and, I'm not going crazy, but my body my body is like, on the inside, like all those ants trying to come out. The anxiety is through the roof, and I just want peace. I just want to get to that place of peace, and I just feel this sense of, oh God, I just wish someone could save me. I know no one can, and I just want it to work. I just want life to work. I feel like I keep working on making life work, and I keep making mistakes. I just want life to work. I just want to start making good decisions, and it's really weird, everyone. I just flounder. I just feel like I'm floundering, like flop, 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 like a floppy jellyfish. I feel like I'm not get there, no spine, no strength, no. But unbelievable amount of friends, hey, unbelievable amount of support. Like, I've got so much. You would not believe it, but I actually have so much. You will believe it. I've created a network of such authentic, supportive, now I got someone else reading me. I really should. I sent some messages to some people saying I couldn't sleep, and if they wanted to ring me, they could. And 2 of them rung me since I've been on this live. See, I now know I can reach out for support. I know I deserve the support. I also know I deserve this home that Anthony and I have been creating. I deserve this home as well. I really like it that we can co-live on this same property, because neither of us would have this property without the other. He wouldn't have moved to the bush. He wouldn't have been brave to do any of this. And then he had his mother's inheritance money. He always wanted to live in the bush, but he didn't want to do it on his own. Hey, Lynette, just trying to accept what our session yesterday, like, fuck, it's a really difficult journey. I'm really been, after I saw you, I went to Brad's house to pick up the fence panels, and we talked for quite a long time. I talked to Brad about lots of what we spoke about, and what actually happened was Brad found it fascinating when I was talking about TraumaBond, how TraumaBond looks like love. because he's like, I've never seen two people love each other as much as you two, you know, and I just felt like I never loved anyone the way I've loved Anthony. And then to put it in perspective of, whoa, like, you know, wounded child comfort zone. You feel like the wounded child feels like it's come home, but then the wounded child rears it's very few, you know, it's unresolved issues head, which for me is, you know, that pit of fury and that pit of, and that depth of that pit of despair and that pit of fury. So that comes up in the relationship, and that's a very unloving way to act. Yeah, it's just, like, I'm not going to say it's breaking my heart. I just want to just resolve it. I want to get past this stage in my life and move to the next stage. Like here it's heavy, and it feels like I've got hundreds of ants, hot ants on the inside trying to eat from the inside coming out. I always identified this as an anxiety attack when this happens. So, but I've also got this cold. Feels like I've got this cold ice block. Feels like from on the inside there's a pole, an icy pole going all the way down the inside, and it's really, it's making me like an ice ache, if that makes any sense. Like something's freezing up and contracting, and then the ants are like boiling hot, like they feel like they're hot lava ants, like they feel like they're ants, they've got all this hot poison, and as they're biting on the inside they're putting poison, and then I feel like I've got piercing cold things pressing into my back, and it feels like something squashing me also on the outside. Just, yeah, it's funny, you know, all this stuff pushing from the inside out, hot and cold, prickly pressure, a real heavy, hard pressure, and then on the outside it feels like something's pushing in with needly needles, like, you know, in my back, and I just want to get, like, anyways, it's morning now. I couldn't sleep last night, so now it's day. What I notice is if I can't sleep all night, if I fall asleep first thing in the morning, sometimes I can sleep from 6 till 9, and that gets me through the day. Came home to a major retic problem. There was a lake of water going down the road. It's so much water wastage, and the whole front verge is like a mush mud pit, like so deep. Like when I drove in, the car nearly got bogged. The mud is that deep. That's just how much water was coming out. And then all of the garden beds, all the retic was on in all the garden beds, and they're all saturated. And that's a fuckload of water. And water is so expensive in Northern Home. I've got about $3,500 water bill already, just from this last year, because I haven't been paying it, because I haven't been able to actually live, like haven't been able to pay basic debts up here. And the water bill's just too scary to focus on, but I know I have to. Now, twice now that retic, so we had Brad come up to help me with retic, but we haven't been able to finish it. But we found some water leaks, which I think was going on for 26 years, and I think that thing out the front, we think it might be an underground river, but we don't know yet, because I checked it out this morning and all the water along the roads dried up. So that was definitely retic. But the front bit's all like a pond. So where's the water coming from? And that freaks me out. I just came home and I was like, it just overwhelms me, this property. It's too big just for me. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't choose to do this on my own. Should I sell it? Should we just sell it at a loss? Because there's no way we'll make I've done so much work on this place, but it's not at a state where it can be sold. I know I'm not the only one that's got this home issue. I just want to feel like I'm home. I want to feel like I'm home with my... And I know I said that to Lynette yesterday about Norman feels like home, this house feels like home. And it does, because it's all I have. And it's great and it's beautiful. So why not call it home? Without sharing it with my husband, it feels odd. Like, doesn't feel... last time when he was gone, it felt horrendous. I didn't want to be here at all. But this time around, I can see myself living here alone. But it just feels... It's a big house. It's too big for one person, I reckon. And I don't want to be isolated in a small country town. Like, I don't want to be... I want to be sharing my life with my partner. I want to share this dream. I want to share this dream with someone. I don't want to be alone. And I know a few people have said I've got to just handle it, being alone and with me. Like, I've got to just be me. I've just got to handle... I know, I just wish that... I sort of wish that God would just take me now. Like, who would look after the animals? This beautiful garden I planted. I don't actually know what this feeling is I'm feeling, because normally when I'm this low, I'm suicidal. But I'm actually not suicidal at all. There's not a single part of me that wants to kill myself. And I don't even know if there's truth in wanting God to kill me. I don't even think that's a true statement either. I just want to not feel pain. The dogs are waking up. Little Xena Bina. See little Xena and Alvin. There's Xena and there's Alvin. So, it's normal to grieve. Yeah, well, fuck. Yeah, I don't know, I've been grieving a fucking lot for a long time. I just like the reality, trying to accept the reality of the trauma bond connection and having to walk away from it. I guess the next step is just, I guess I can't see... Maybe I don't believe I can do it. Maybe I don't believe I can grow. Maybe this is growing pains or something. Like, I'm stunting my growth, or maybe, I don't know, everyone. Xena! She was, look at that. She was just chewing the knob of that cupboard. Look at my beautiful animals, Alvin and Xena. Little Xena is like 13 weeks old. So I didn't tell you guys the story, but I nearly lost Xena 2 days ago. Not yesterday, but the day before. I spent over 3 hours trying to keep her alive. That really traumatised me as well, because she overheated and her body was limp, her eyes were rolling behind her head. It was fucking scary. Now she's all strong, and now I'm too scared to have him in the car. Too scared to leave him home alone. I have to retick this and the dogs. I don't want to be here alone on this property. I don't want to be managing all these animals and this property on my own. I want to be able to have someone work do it with me. And I don't want the responsibility. I don't want this whole responsibility of my own. This isn't what decide this is not what I actually wanted. I didn't want to be slaving on a big block of land on my own. I wanted to be travelling around a camper van doing music. I was going to do my online therapy. Anthony was going to do his music. We were going to do some travelling around Australia. Get some trips, get a vegetable garden. Wanted to just travel, do some travelling with Anthony. And he was going to do gigs at different pubs. But his brother told him he's not good enough to sing. What makes him think he can what makes him think that would work? And Anthony listens to that. Anthony's so good with his voice. We could be travelling and he could make money. He could get gigs everywhere. Before he just left this last time, we finally got an awning on the camper van. My friend Catherine said to me that she feels like sometimes her house is an albatross around her neck. She's got this beautiful old, heritage old building in 2J. Yeah, not just it goes wrong. I had fully believed it was the right thing to do. I thought God was telling us the right thing to do. My friend Brad says that devil comes in angels, looks to look like angels, and that time when I thought the angels were telling me to go to Anthony's with a coffee, and it was so strong, like, go to Anthony's with a coffee, now he needs you. And then that was the beginning of us dating again, like when I came back from Beaconsfield, and that was the beginning of us actually proper dating, which led to us actually having a real relationship that then led to us being married. That was the first time he started to declare me as his partner, was after me going to his house. Not on that day, but it was that me having been away from him for all that time, then coming to him again with that coffee that day, commenced the pathway of us getting to the point where we are now, where we're married. And I thought that was God, and I thought that was angels, and I thought our marriage was protected by God, and I thought that, yeah. And then the more I think about everything that's happened in our relationship up to here, and how many things, how many chances, how distressing it's been, how unflowy it's been. It flows beautifully when we're walking the dogs, and even then there's issues, because sometimes we'll start to walk the dogs and he'll sit down. I go, what are you doing? He goes, you keep walking, I'll just sit here. I'm going, what? Because he just thinks, my breath is hard of breath, so I'm just going to sit here. I'm thinking, but this is actually what will stimulate your lungs. This is what will get you healthy again. And something in me just breaks when he does that as well. I'm going, but why don't you just want to amble along the river with the dogs? Even though we just go slower, step up, look after your lungs, step into life, step up. And something in me breaks, and man, this guy isn't living. He doesn't even want to be alive. He's doing nothing to stay alive. So even our walks have got problems, It's like this guy doesn't actually want to be alive. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm looping now. Anyways, that accepting trauma bond connection is a heart-wrenching experience when one has believed it was true love. Yeah, and that's what made it heartbreaking for me was the fact that he didn't want to stimulate his lungs. Like, he's prepared to take the steroids in the morning, the puffer, right? But when the doctor gave him the script for the puffer, they also got him in a care plan for some breath gym work, which he didn't go to, and that was like that would have been it's at the hospital, so they teach that people who've got injured lungs, it's like helping them get strong lungs. So he wouldn't do that. He'll take the steroid puffer, but he wouldn't do the breath gym work at the fucking hospital. It was like a group. It was like, it was a one-on-one. And he had all these different, I don't get it. I don't get why he doesn't want to live. Like, I never got it. You marry the woman who say you love them more than anything you've ever loved ever. You're on this beautiful property. I'm trying to concentrate on myself, and the issue is last night I just couldn't sleep, trying so hard to comprehend my reality and what I've done, and how I got here and how I fix the mess up, like how I fix this mess up, like how do I get this house and this land to get to such a point where it's not stressing me out. Like that retic problem is stressing me out. Like it stresses me out that there's retic problems and water problems. It's stressing me out that it's a quarter of a block of land that needs all this work. This place is actually quite stressful for me. It's like I haven't had a break from it. I was really looking forward to going on a camping trip. Anthony, I was going to go on a road trip, and he keeps blocking that with. And now he's got the camper van, and he doesn't want to stay here without me because he can't make it happen. I just want a cocoon. So right now I feel like I'm falling into something. It's really weird. It's not even vertigo right now. It's like I feel like I'm actually, when I rub my head like that, I feel like I'm leaving my body, flying off somewhere. Like I just want to be somewhere else. Like I want there's someone to support me. Like, I just feel like I need a lot more support than I'm getting. Yeah, no, that's definitely vertigo. One day at a time, one thing at a time, thanks. Anyways, I'm going to end this vlog by talking about my beautiful friend, Catherine, who's got this amazing house in 2J, and it's historical, and it's just stunning, and she's had it for 28 years, and she feels like it's holding her back, and she keeps struggling with, should I sell it? I mean, it's not that there's issues around it, but it's not just simple. But home issues, I realise, is a big thing for a lot of people, and you can really love where you are. I love this house, Rocket Street, and I love Northam, and it's great, and I love my dogs, and it will work. I'll make it work, but this time not by living on crumbs. This time I've been very awakened to just, there's so many things that have happened. Coming up to Northam, being married to Anthony has really shown me how deep my trauma is. It's like going, woof, you will not avoid this anymore. You will actually address this issue. You have actually created the perfect learning environment to finally really delve in and deal with it. So come on, quick. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I'm going to try to sleep for maybe half an hour, and then I'll work out the day and see how to make this day successful. Christmas Eve, by the way, everybody. Christmas Eve. Fucking hell. Painful time of year for all this shit, but whatever. Okay. See you later. Keep well, thanks.